Here's your wrestling news for April 4th, 2026. Your headlines for today include Randy Orton's mystery ally exposed as Pat McAfee, fans question booking, man behind this booking revealed, and it's not Triple H. Fans turn on popular babyface during SmackDown main event. WWE makes major booking error in women's tag team title build. New Club WWE clue drops, mystery deepens. Tag team breakup and a new alliance teased on SmackDown. Celebrity involvement continues to hurt WrestleMania 42 build. John Laurinaitis' attorney fires back at new accusations in Janelle Grant filing. WWE legend passed away, and more. We are kicking off with SmackDown, and after weeks of speculation, WWE finally revealed the identity behind Randy Orton's mystery phone calls, and it turned out to be none other than Pat McAfee. The reveal immediately caught fans off guard. McAfee wasn't among the popular predictions, especially with speculation previously leaning towards names like The Rock or even Triple H. In hindsight, there may have been subtle groundwork, particularly with Cody Rhodes previously scheduled to appear on McAfee's show, plans that ultimately fell through due to scheduling issues. On SmackDown, McAfee didn't hold back. He leaned into a very different tone, referencing his earlier comments about the business passing him by and extending that sentiment to fans of the Attitude Era. He openly criticized the current product, taking aim at long matches featuring smaller wrestlers while praising what he described as bona fide superstars like Randy Orton. The promo went even further, with McAfee bringing up declining SmackDown ratings and pointing out that WrestleMania tickets are still available, a rare instance of WWE programming openly acknowledging criticism of its own product. That ties directly into the story being told. McAfee framed his alliance with Orton as a mission to save wrestling, positioning themselves against the current direction of the company, which is fronted by Cody Rhodes. The implication is clear: this could be building toward a major WrestleMania moment, potentially even an Orton victory in Las Vegas. But this is where things get complicated. If McAfee is voicing concerns that many fans actually agree with, it raises a key question: why should the audience view him and Orton as villains? The criticisms he outlined aren't entirely fictional, and that blurs the line between storyline and reality in a way that could impact how this angle is received. At the same time, the pairing itself feels unusual. McAfee has long been one of WWE's biggest supporters, so seeing him suddenly shift into this role does come across as a bit forced. And just because Orton has been shown speaking to McAfee doesn't necessarily mean he's the only one involved. There's still room for this story to expand. Names like The Rock, Triple H, or even John Cena, who is set to be part of WrestleMania, could still factor into the bigger picture. If that happens, this reveal may end up being just one piece of a larger puzzle. To McAfee's credit, the promo itself delivered. He brought energy, conviction, and a different edge to the segment, something WWE doesn't often lean into anymore. And while the reveal may not have landed for everyone, it did create genuine surprise, which is increasingly rare. Adding another layer, McAfee took to X and made a bold claim, stating that if Orton doesn't win at WrestleMania, he will walk away from wrestling entirely. That raises the stakes heading into the event, suggesting that something significant is planned, regardless of the outcome. Later in the show, Cody Rhodes responded. Clearly fired up, Rhodes compared the reveal to a disappointing payoff, saying it felt like if the NWO's third man in 1996 had turned out to be Disco Inferno. He addressed recent comments from Stephanie McMahon, acknowledging fan calls for him to turn heel, but Rhodes admitted that as a father of two, he's not even sure he knows how to play that role anymore. Still, he closed with an intriguing line, saying he hears voices in his head too, but fans wouldn't want to hear what they're saying. That tease adds another layer of intrigue as the feud continues to build. Behind the scenes, there's now more clarity on how this direction came together. According to PW Insider Elite, there's a growing belief within WWE that the decision to involve McAfee may not have come purely from creative. Instead, it's believed to be tied to the corporate side, specifically TKO leadership. One report even mentioned the possibility of Ari Emanuel being connected to the push, although that remains unconfirmed. The reasoning reportedly ties back to WWE's relationship with ESPN, including the deal to broadcast part of WrestleMania on linear television. Featuring McAfee in a major storyline could help strengthen that partnership, even if the creative direction itself has divided fans. So now the question becomes, did this reveal add intrigue to the storyline, or did it miss the mark? And more importantly, is this just the beginning of something bigger, or has WWE already shown its hand? Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. SmackDown delivered another loaded episode with multiple storylines progressing, but it was the Wyatt Six angle that continued to quietly build momentum. The Lantern finally returned to the group as Uncle Howdy picked up a win over Tonga. However, one decision immediately stood out. WWE chose to skip Howdy's entrance entirely, which is surprising considering it's one of the most visually unique presentations on the show right now. During the match, Solo Sikoa inadvertently distracted Tonga, playing directly into the finish. That moment carried added weight, especially after Tonga had made it clear beforehand that he wanted to handle things alone, even questioning why they were fighting so hard over the Lantern in the first place. That hesitation suggests Tama isn't fully buying into the group's direction, adding a layer of tension within the faction. Despite this, Tonga still managed to earn Solo's trust, convincing him to hand over the Lantern, which was then returned to Howdy. Even so, this doesn't feel like the end. Backstage, Tonga pushed the idea that MFT should focus on taking over SmackDown and chasing gold, while Solo made it clear the Wyatt Six still need to be dealt with first. At this stage, the direction feels split. They could either lead to the end of the Wyatt Six, or the early cracks forming within Solo's faction. Elsewhere, Rhea Ripley opened the night with a win over Michin, but things quickly broke down into a 3-on-1 attack involving Michin, B-Fab, and Jade Cargill. The numbers game was cut short by Io Sky, setting up what looks like a likely tag alignment heading into WrestleMania, with Ripley and Io potentially teaming before Ripley's expected clash with Cargill. The women's tag division also moved forward, though the booking raised some questions. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria came up short against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, with Bliss picking up the pinfall. After the match, Lash Legend and Nia Jax laid out both teams, once again leaving the champions standing tall ahead of WrestleMania. That's where things feel uneven. If this is building toward a multi-team match, having one team dominate while others lose clean doesn't help balance momentum. Either all teams should be protected or none should, and right now, the champs are clearly ahead, making parts of this build feel unnecessary. There was also an update on Nikki Bella, with WWE airing footage of a recent injury showing her leg bending awkwardly. WWE confirmed she is undergoing rehab and is still expected to make WrestleMania, though as always, the card remains subject to change. Her presence on Raw this week is at least a positive sign. WWE also continued teasing Club WWE with another subtle reference on the show. With the trademark already filed, the leading theory remains that this will be a subscription-style membership offering perks like ticket access or merchandise discounts, but for now, WWE is still holding back on confirming details. In a subtle but interesting background moment, Alex Shelley was spotted during a segment with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. More notably, Shelley was seen leaving with them with no sign of Chris Sabin. The absence feels intentional, especially with Gargano heading into Stand and Deliver, suggesting there could be more to this tease. The tag division brought a mix of chaos and comedy. R-Truth once again misunderstood the situation, believing Asuka was behind a curse when it was actually Danhausen. During the match, Truth tagged in Danhausen, leading to a bizarre sequence where The Miz pulled the referee in front of him to avoid being cursed. The referee appeared affected, struggling to complete the count at a crucial moment, allowing Damian Priest to capitalize and retain, with the official eventually using his other arm to finish the job. Elsewhere, Aleister Black picked up a win over Matt Cardona. The match felt somewhat random, but the result helps maintain Black's momentum, while Cardona continues to struggle for wins on SmackDown. There were also multiple celebrity appearances on the show, including Sexy Red at ringside and Little Yachty accompanying Trick Williams. While occasional celebrity involvement can add value, the increasing focus on outside names is starting to raise questions, especially as it begins to take attention away from ongoing wrestling storylines, something that's becoming a noticeable trend heading into WrestleMania. The United States title picture closed out the show, and this is where things become more layered. New champion Sami Zayn received a mixed reaction, continuing the trend since his title win. The St. Louis crowd didn't hold back, chanting Sammy Hogan and clearly favoring Carmelo Hayes. After some back and forth and encouragement from Trick Williams, Zayn agreed to defend the title against Hayes in the main event. The match delivered, but concern came late when Hayes appeared to tweak his knee after an awkward landing, similar to Nikki Bella's recent injury. The reaction suggested real discomfort, though it's still unclear whether this was legitimate or storyline driven. Hayes pushed through, but the distraction proved costly. As he was being checked on in the corner, Zayn capitalized with a haluva kick to retain. After the match, Trick Williams attacked Zayn and stood tall with the title, adding another layer to the situation. Now the question begins to build. Is this leading toward a Sami heel turn? Is Trick Williams shifting babyface? And where does Carmelo Hayes fit into WrestleMania after this setback? With 2 SmackDowns remaining before WrestleMania, WWE still has time to adjust, but whether they follow through remains to be seen. That was this week's SmackDown, you guys. What stood out most to you from this episode, and where do you think these stories are heading next? With SmackDown review in the rearview mirror, let's focus on some important news. Nikki Bella's injury situation has now been clarified, and WWE has confirmed what many fans were already fearing. During SmackDown, the company officially acknowledged that Nikki was legitimately injured during last week's show and is currently working toward a recovery ahead of WrestleMania 42. The concern began after the March 27th episode, when Nikki went down during a post-match brawl and didn't return to action. In the days that followed, fans spotted her wearing a walking boot while recording a future episode of the Nikki and Brie show, raising further doubts about the severity of the injury. As of now, Nikki is still scheduled for the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, but her availability will depend on how her recovery progresses over the coming days. So the question is, should WWE still move forward with Nikki Bella in the match, or adjust plans if she isn't fully cleared? John Laurinaitis' attorney is responding after new court filings in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon brought his name back into focus. Laurinaitis was originally listed as a co-defendant but was removed from the case in May 2025 after agreeing to cooperate and provide evidence to Grant's legal team. Despite that, the latest filing references alleged incidents involving him during Grant's time in WWE. On April 1st, Grant's attorneys submitted a memorandum opposing WWE and McMahon's push to move the case into private arbitration. That filing included mentions of Laurinaitis, prompting a response from his lawyer, Edward M. Brennan. My client has no need to comment on this salacious affidavit. Anyone can make allegations. Whether those allegations can withstand the harsh sunlight of cross-examination is another matter entirely. Brennan also pointed to prior findings and Laurinaitis' dismissal from the lawsuit as key factors in his defense. I note that after 2+ years of litigation, Mr. Laurinaitis remains the only party exonerated by an independent investigation commissioned by the WWE Board of Directors to review these matters, and the only person dismissed with prejudice from this lawsuit. Those facts speak louder than any allegations made to buttress a suspect claim. The broader case continues to center on whether it will remain in public court or shift to private arbitration, a decision that could determine how much information becomes publicly available. Even though Laurinaitis is no longer a defendant, his mention in recent filings and his attorney's response show that the legal battle is still evolving. The wrestling world is mourning the loss of a veteran performer, as former NWA title holder Flying Fred Curry has passed away at the age of 82. The news was confirmed by Bobby Fulton on X, who shared an emotional tribute remembering Curry's impact on the business. The legendary Flying Fred Curry, one of the first high flyers in wrestling, has passed. He helped me with many opportunities. He'll be deeply missed, and my heart is broken. My prayers for his wife, children, and family. I'll have further details of his life on my Facebook. Fred Curry, born Fred Thomas Corey Jr., came from a wrestling lineage as the son of Wild Bill Curry and followed his father into the industry. He began his career in the 1960s and quickly stood out for his speed and signature dropkicks, earning recognition as one of the early high flyers in the sport. He built much of his career across the Midwest and Texas territories during wrestling's territorial era. Early on, he teamed with his father, capturing the NWA International Tag Team Championship and the Detroit version of the NWA World Tag Team Championship. He later held those Detroit titles again alongside Tony Marino. In the late 1970s, Curry moved to the WWF, where he continued as a fan favorite, teaming with Ivan Putski and competing against names like the Valiants, Johnny Rodz, Victor Rivera, and Baron Mikhail Shikluna. Flying Fred Curry leaves behind a legacy as one of the pioneers who helped shape high-flying wrestling styles seen today.